All right, I am with Sade Simmons here at Arena Stage, and she is a member of the cast, and thanks for joining us here on Metro Scene.
Absolutely.
Huh? All right. What was it like when you first heard that you were coming to D.C. to perform at Arena Stage in My Fair Lady?
You know, honestly, it was such a breath of fresh air. I was so excited. We had gone through a 3-day process, the dancers in New York, of just dancing full out, flips, turns, the whole bit. So when I finally got the call, you know, saying your hard work has paid off, you've gotten the job, I was just so excited and so thrilled, and it's such a great show. It's a classic, so I was really excited about it.
And then you're thrown in with all these new cast members, probably most of them you had never worked with before.
Right.
Huh? And what is that like?
Well, during the audition, it's actually really scary because we had to do a lot of partnering on the 3rd day. And it was a lot of flips and trusting another person. And so you're honestly walking up to that person being like, hi, how are you? I'm Sade, nice to meet you. I'm going to do some tricks with you, and I hope that works out. So actually my partner during the audition is my partner in the show, Dean DeLuna. So we got to know each other very well, very quickly, because we had to trust each other right from the start and hope that it came out okay. So it's scary and it's exciting all at the same time, because you have to put yourself out there, and you have to be your true self right from the beginning, and allow other people to accept you for that.
How is this production of My Fair Lady different from what people might have been thinking, the more traditional?
I think this version is a little grittier, it's a little dirtier. I think it's more realistic, and it's so diverse. We're taking our real world now and putting it in a real world then. You know, the people that you see on stage are the people that you would have seen in London at that time. Mm-hmm. So we are, I think, a more true representation of the environment. And I also think that we're taking a little bit of a modern twist to it as well. I mean, Judith Bowden, with the costumes, took that steampunk feel and threw us into it, and it makes it seem so grounded, I think, for the Cockney, and then just so pretty and perfect for Ascot and the ball scenes.
All right. What do you feel that you actually brought to this production?
Oh, goodness. I think drive and determination and a lot of power, just because of the person that I am and the way that I move. People say that I'm really fast and full of fuel. And I think I let that drive my character. And I hope that that energy kind of resonates throughout the cast. I know I feed off of their energy, and I want them to feed off of mine. I think I just give it a little excitement and spunk.
All right. And speaking of your energy, you had to do a lot of choreography. Mm-hmm. And who is the choreographer? And I thought it was just excellently done. Yeah,
Danny Pelzig is our choreographer, and he's brilliant. Mm-hmm. And I love the way that he works with us individually. So if movement that he comes up with doesn't necessarily fit our bodies or feel right to us, he'll be like, okay, well, we'll change it. And I want to see how you move. How would you do this? Does that feel right to you? So everything happened pretty organically. And it was just a really wonderful process to go through. He had an idea, a broad scope of what he wanted, and then we just sort of put things in piece by piece and then ran it. Mm-hmm. So it's church, for instance, just shoots you out of a cannon. But I think that's the beauty of it too, is because all of a sudden, you know, you have these lengthy book scenes, and then you're hit in the face with this energy, and it's just so nice to have. And it was just great to work with Danny. In the first scene, I'm a busker.
Okay, and explain what a busker is.
A busker is just someone who, or busking is someone who goes out and they perform for money. Mm-hmm. So, you know, today it would be someone in the subways, you know, playing music or dancing or any of that, you know, in New York. So that's who I am in the first scene, and then I sort of transition to being at Ascot and kind of being, you know, of upper class, that changing of class systems and going to the ball. And then in the last scene in church, I'm a flower girl.
All right.
Yeah.
Manna playing Eliza and Benedict playing Professor Higgins. Mm-hmm. Talk about them playing the lead roles, and how was it working with them?
They're fabulous people to start with. I love them as they are as human beings. Ben actually did this role as Henry at the Shaw production. So he's had some time to sort of develop his character, and I know he's come a very long way with it. It is such a delight to be in the same space with him. He is such a brilliant actor and knows Shaw, the writer of the play, so well that you gain more experience and you gain more understanding of the character through him because of the way that he is playing Henry Higgins. And I think it's been such a great learning experience to experience what acting is from him. It's been really nice. And Mana is just a delight, and she has such a gorgeous voice and is a gorgeous person. And watching her process has been really beautiful. She is really meticulous and really detail-oriented, and she also is very internal. Her process is really kind of inside of herself. And so you can see how she thinks about the character. You know, one day she'll come in and Eliza will look one way, and then she'll go home, she'll think about it. The next day we come in, Eliza looks a little different. And it's just her process of sort of walking through, how would I react to this in real life? How do I make this real for me and for everyone else? And that's been so gorgeous to sort of experience along with her, and being in the same room with the two of them trying to find their way as Henry, as Eliza, but also as Mana and as Ben.
That's the beauty of theater too, right?
Yeah.
And stage is that things can be different on different nights.
Oh my goodness, all the time. Things are different all the time.
And talk about the dialect. I mean, you had to learn the Cockney dialect.
Yeah.
And I mean, to me, that was like so well done throughout the production. But talk about, you know, what you had to do. I know you can do a little bit of it yourself. I mean, give us a little sample there.
The first day, we walked into rehearsal and she just said, "All right, grab your books, we're going to talk now." It's scary. It's scary to walk into a room. I mean, we started working on the dialect our first week. So like the first day, the second day, we walked into the room, and again with people that we didn't really know, and she goes, "Okay, so we're gonna go through your vowels just like they do in the show." And we're like, "Well, we already know our vowels, A, E, I," and she's like, "No, I, E, I," and you kind of just start there. And you have to let go of any inhibitions that you have. You have to let go of that fear of opening yourself up and doing something that's new. Along with that, when we were learning the music with Paul Spertelli, he refused to allow us to learn the music in North American accents. He forced us to learn it in Cockney. So right from the get-go, we were learning the music, we were learning the score in the Cockney accent, and that sort of makes it embedded in your system. And so now we can just sort of pull it out whenever we want.
And realistically, there were people who looked like you in 1912 London,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
Speaking Cockney.
Yeah. So it's one of those details that makes it so grounded and so real life. Because this would happen, this world would exist, and it did.
Well, tell us a little bit about your background. I mean, you've done a lot of work. You're originally from Richmond. Talk about that. Growing up, did you ever think this would happen, that you'd become an actress?
You know, every day is a surprise. It really is. No. My mom was really adamant about me not being a shy kid. I was not talkative. I wouldn't go outside of my comfort zone easily at all. I really just stuck to my family, and that was it. And at a very young age, I was probably 4 or 5, she was just like, "Okay, you need to get out, you need to talk to other kids." And so she enrolled me in dance. I was in chorus, I did art, just acting classes. I did so many things just to get me around other people. And dance was the thing that stuck. I remember my mom walking up to me and saying, "Okay, you have to decide between dance and cheerleading." And for a while, I thought I was going to be a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader. That was my dream. And so I was like, well, I can never do that if I quit cheerleading, but something, you know,
yeah, right.
something in me was just kind of like, well, I don't think I want to cheer anymore. And I stuck with dance, and then, you know, years down the line, here I am. It stuck with me, it grew with me. And it took me a long time to realize I was good at it, really, because it always seemed so natural. I was always surrounded by music. I was always surrounded by movement. My family is just so funny and always dancing around the living room and singing around the living room. And so it was always a part of me. And then one day I think I woke up and I just decided this is what I want to do. And my parents were always so supportive of that, and they always sent me away for summer programs. My dance teacher at home was always so supportive of that. And so here I am.
Wow. And, you know, since you're from this area, you've got people who are coming here to these performances, right? Your family. You talked about your dad earlier.
My dad, bless him, so funny. I told him I got this job, and he was like, oh, great. Okay, so this is what we're going to have. When are your days off? This is the dinner menu for every Monday that you have off. So he's really excited. An hour and a half is nothing for my family and my friends. One of my best friends actually just came up like a week ago, I think, to see the show, which is such a treat. My parents came to the preview show, the first preview show. They'll be here on Saturday again to see the show. So it's nice to be able to have that support system come up, and I can go home. I went home for Thanksgiving, which was really nice. I'll go home for Christmas. But it's really nice to come back to that home base and to say, you know, look how far I've come. Look at the things that I'm still doing.
Any influences that you had, people who were in the field that you looked up to?
Savion Glover. I was a huge tapper, which is funny because probably around the age of 8 or 9, I hated tap. I never wanted to do it again because I didn't understand it. And then probably by the age of 12, I don't know what happened. I think I had a growth spurt and then I understood tap again. But I'd always grown up watching him and going to his shows and just sort of drooling over his talent. He's been an inspiration for me, as well as Gregory Hines, who just has a special place in my heart. I mean, I grew up watching Gregory and Savion on Sesame Street, and just sitting in my living room being like, yeah, that feels good. I kind of want to do that. And then there are people, you know, in my studio that I grew up with that have always inspired me, that were older than me, that I was like, I want to do that. I want to be like that person. I mean, but who can forget Gene Kelly, Fred Astaire? Sitting at home watching those movies, especially during the holidays, have always been people that I've looked up to. I love how movies and film at that time totally embraced the arts, which is something that we've kind of lost now.
All right. Any words that inspire you? Anything that inspires you that you'd like to leave?
I guess I would just like to say, you know, keep pressing on. Even when it gets really hard, even when it gets really tough, even when you kind of feel lost and you don't know exactly what you're doing with your life, keep moving forward, keep pressing on, keep your eye on the ball. My dad always says, you know, act within your character and be bold with your choices. And I think that's what I've done. All
right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. And have a good run.
Thank you.
Here at Arena Stage.
Thank you so much.
All right. Sade Simmons here on Metro Scene. We'll be right back.